What's up, guys? I'm Eric, and welcome to my guide for pour over coffee. Now, I am an absolute beginner, so we're going to be learning this together. So, first and foremost, what is pour over coffee? And pour over coffee is simply a method of taking coffee, pouring water over it to extract the final product. Now, you might ask yourself, what do I need to go and be successful pour over? You're going to need a kettle. I'm opting for Barista's gooseneck kettle here. The best thing about this kettle is that it's got targeted temperature controls, which means everything's going to be kept at a steady temperature. You're going to need a dripper here. We're using their Tornado dripper. You're also going to need some filters. We're opting for Hario V60 filters. Now these are the size 1. Now we opted for bleach over unbleached just to make it a little bit easier on this end so we're not having that papery taste. Next thing you're going to need is a server, and this is simply a vessel for collecting your extracted coffee. Then you're going to need some coffee beans. We're opting for Day Soul's El Camino. And this features notes of ripe peaches, maple syrup, orange and cocoa powder, and this is going to be a light medium roast. Now the next thing you're going to need is a scale. We're opting for this scale from Popspresso. The best thing about this scale is that it's got a timer function and it goes down to the 10th of a gram. As far as grinders go, I'm using the Starseeker E55 Pro, which is traditionally for espresso, but I've got it on a little bit coarser setting, which is going to allow us to use it for pour over. The best thing about this is because it is a single serve device, it makes it easy for us to switch between different coffee beans. Now the next thing is going to be kind of controversial, and that's going to be our water source. I'm using regular purified water because I'm a complete noob at this. But a lot of people will go and say, hey, you need to go use distilled water with specific barista specific packets with certain minerals. And lastly, this is kind of a bonus, but this is a paper press from Codally, and it's going to make it a little bit easier for you to go and keep your filter inside of your dripper. All right, now that we know the basics of what we need for pour over coffee, we'll go over the preparation phase. You're going to simply take your dripper and place it over your server, place your paper filter inside, and then if you're using a paper press, you'll go and place that inside as well. Now the next thing you want to do is heat up your water. We're aiming for about 94 Celsius or 201 to 202 degrees Fahrenheit. And the next thing what you're going to do is simply go and rinse your filter. This is going to go and take away some of that papery taste. And the important thing is you want to make sure you go and completely saturate that filter. All right, now that we've gone and rinsed our filter, we're going to simply take that water that we've gone and rinsed off, and we're going to go and pour that out. All right, so now that we've gone and prepared our filter, the next thing we need to do obviously is prepare our beans. So we've got 15 grams of beans here. We've actually sprayed some water on them, and that's going to go and reduce static electricity, which will go and help with retention when coming out of your grinder. And like I said, we're dialed onto a coarser setting here for this grinder. All right, now that we've prepared our beans, the next thing you want to do is remove your paper press. And then you want to take your server and your dripper and place it on top of your scale. Make sure you take care to go and actually go and tear your scale out. Then we're going to go and add our coffee. We're aiming for about a sand-like kind of consistency. And then we're going to go and pour that over our actual filter. All right, now that we've gone and poured our coffee into our filter, we're just going to go and try and evenly go and distribute that coffee around, make it a little bit easier on us to go and get that water distributed. Now that we've leveled off our bed of coffee, we're going to add about 50 grams of water to our pour over, making sure to cover everything. And then after we add that 50 grams in, we're going to go and let this go and sit for about 30 to 45 seconds, just to allow it to bloom. Just going to go and allow all that CO2 goodness to go and come out of those beans. All right, now that we've allowed it to bloom, now we're going to add about 100 more grams of water. Taking care to do small, slow circles, and we're aiming for about 2.5 to 3 minutes of total brew time. All right, now that we've added all of our water, we're simply now waiting for the rest of our coffee to extract. All right, now that we've got everything brewed, let's go in for a simple taste test. I'm using these awesome cups from Ovalware. Now the thing I love about pour over, especially with the light roast, is you don't get such of a heavy body and mouthfeel that you get with espresso. And one thing I love about this single origin from Day Soul is just the peach notes. You don't really get that in a lot of coffee, so it really makes it really interesting. Oh yeah, that is a really good cup of coffee. Like I said, just the clarity on it, it almost tastes like you're, has a feel like you're drinking tea versus drinking actual cup of coffee. All right, guys, that was my complete beginner's guide to pour over coffee. There was probably so much stuff that I left out, but obviously I am a beginner and I'm a learning on the way too, just like you guys. But in the meantime, make sure you like, comment, and follow me for more tips and tricks, whether it's related to pour over coffee or espresso. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.